I got food in my mouth.
A speech. We're asking for a speech right now. While you're eating, it makes it more homey.
So, today we're going to visit,
Wheaton Labs.
Wheaton Labs. And super excited. We're going to go up there and do some work on building a parking lot and moving some dirt around and spend some time with Paul. And I couldn't be more excited about it.
Super excited.
Was that good for a mouthful of food?
It was good for a mouthful of food, and we have a little, behind the gun rack, we have a little face that peeks to keep us company. So I'm excited to take Paige for this little road trip, kind of like a mommy-daughter date with Josh along. And make sure to go check out Paul's PDC. Okay, so PDC stands for Permaculture Design Course. And this one is a little different because he is having people do the design course of his property so that he can tell them when they're wrong and make them redo it. Because a lot of people are doing fictitious designs of a place they want to live someday or a place where they live now, and then Paul can't actually critique it for them. So
I have a question.
Yes.
What does fictitious mean?
Not real. Not in actual physical existence.
So it's easy to design in Fantasylandia.
Yes.
It's a lot more difficult to design in reality.
In reality.
Okay, gotcha.
It's at Paul's place, and what's it called? The appropriate. Okay, ATC stands for Appropriate Technology Course, which would be things like the Willow Feeder, which is a type of composting toilet, but it's a beautiful. The one they're working on is called Willow Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I think is what they're calling it.
Which is totally appropriate for a...
And Nick Fouch and Bear Paw have already got that started, and it's a timber frame type of a structure. They have... Anyway, it's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see the rocket mass heater, the willow bank feeders, which is what Paul calls his bathrooms. And they have a rocket stove shower heater, which you have to be very careful with rocket stoves and heating water because of what Paul calls the boom squish factor, which is that water inside a closed container with lots of heat will explode if you don't do it right. So there is a reason that Paul teaches these courses. The link to this particular course is below. They've actually sold out the actual PDC. What they're doing now is they're allowing you to watch it live and also to get like 220 hours of actual class time. And so we use permaculture on our property. We're in a cold desert. And what it has done is it's taken nasty, poisonous, horrible ground. And what did you think of all the green that you saw? Did you even notice the green in the trees?
Yes. Yeah. That place is growing like crazy.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and having seen the soil that you've got below the soil,
it's a miracle.
It's
right?
a miracle.
It is. It's a miracle. And we did that with permaculture, with deep mulch. And I wish, this is one thing that I really, really wish. I wish that I had put in berms. Paul says put your berms in first because it protects your property from wind. And it creates little pockets of warmth. And so that's Paul's big thing, is put in your berms first. It protects your property. And we didn't. Instead, I planted trees, and now I'm going to have to tear out big trees in order to get berms in, and it defeats the whole purpose of permaculture.
So let me tell you my little secret about chaining stuff down. I like to run the chain, and then I like to take out as much slack as possible. And so I'll put my hook there, and then I'll hop over here. I like to take out as much slack as possible, and the reason for that is so if the binder fails or whatever, it pops loose, that there's not so much slack, that the machine is still held to the trailer. I like to put the binder on in the middle. And with the cheater, any kind of pipe you can find. Same thing on the back. Try and take all the slack out of the chain. A lot of guys will they'll just run it loose and then put the binder in and take up the slack. But I worry that if the binder comes loose or something happens, that there's a lot more slack for the machine to move around. Safety tip of the day. That's may not work for you, but that's how I roll.
I'm not sure. It would still be off the ground if it had a good tire on it, but the bad tread is off the ground.
Not my favorite activity.
I'm not a very good director, but
right?
I'll tell him if he's going to hit something.
Right? We made it?
That's a long drive.
Especially when you had 2 hours in for tire changes.
That does not make things easier.
And what do you think? Tomorrow, will it be a dusty, interesting mess, or will it not be too bad?
I'm excited. The soil is sandy. It's not going to make a lot of dust. I may take that back, but looks great. Looks like we'll be able to get a lot done, and I'm excited. The place is beautiful. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.